Have you ever wondered how ancient humans survived winter without heaters, thick jackets, or insulated homes? Imagine waking up in a world where every breath burned your lungs, where the ground was frozen solid, where the sun disappeared early, and every night felt endless. For our ancestors, winter wasn't just uncomfortable, it was a season that decided who lived and who died. Yet somehow they survived. They crossed ice-covered lands, they raised families, they hunted giant animals, and they did it thousands of years before modern technology. The strange part is that staying warm wasn't about one clever invention. It was about hundreds of small decisions every single day. A wrong choice could mean death. So how did they do it? The answer begins long before the first snowflake fell. Ancient humans prepared for winter months in advance. They watched nature closely. Birds changed their routes. Leaves changed color. Animals grew thicker fur. These were warnings. Winter was coming, and there would be no second chances. Food became the first priority. A warm body needs energy. The colder the weather became, the more calories people burned just trying to stay alive, even while resting. So hunting became urgent. Large animals were especially valuable. A mammoth could feed an entire group for weeks. Its meat filled empty stomachs. Its fat became precious fuel. Its bones became tools. Even its skin could become shelter. Very little was wasted. Fat mattered more than many people realize. Today, many people avoid eating fat. Ancient humans could not afford to. Fat contains more than twice the energy of protein or carbohydrates. During freezing temperatures, that extra energy helped the body produce heat. Every bite mattered. But finding food was only half the battle. Keeping that heat inside the body was even harder. Our ancestors didn't wear cotton. They didn't wear wool sweaters. Instead, they relied on animal hides. Fresh hides were stiff and heavy. If left untreated, they became hard as wood. So people spent countless hours scraping away flesh and fat. Then they softened the leather using stone tools, smoke, animal brains, and constant stretching. It was exhausting work. But the result changed everything. Soft hides trapped warm air close to the skin. That trapped air became insulation. Even today, most winter clothing works the same way, not by creating heat, but by keeping your own heat from escaping. Layers became another secret. One thick hide helped. Several thinner layers worked even better. Air trapped between each layer slowed heat loss. The principle is still used in modern winter jackets. Sometimes the oldest ideas survive because they simply work. Still, clothing alone wasn't enough. The wind remained a deadly enemy. Moving air steals body heat surprisingly fast. A calm winter day and a windy one can feel completely different. Ancient humans understood this through experience. So they searched carefully for shelter. Not just any shelter, the right shelter. Caves were useful, but not every cave was warm. Some acted like giant refrigerators. Cold air settled deep inside them. Others faced the sun. Those stayed warmer. People learned which places held heat and which places stole it. When caves weren't available, they built shelters. Wooden poles formed the frame. Animal hides covered the outside. Grass, moss, and branches filled the gaps. Every small crack mattered. Even a tiny opening allowed warm air to escape. Good shelter wasn't about size, it was about efficiency. Smaller spaces were easier to heat. Families often slept close together, not only for comfort, but because every human body produced warmth. Sharing that warmth increased everyone's chance of surviving the night. This behavior isn't unique to humans. Many animals do the same. Penguins huddle together. Wolves sleep in groups. Even tiny mice pile together during cold nights. Body heat is free. Nature wastes nothing. Then there was fire, perhaps humanity's greatest survival tool. But fire wasn't simply about lighting wood. Keeping a fire alive through winter required constant attention. A single mistake could be disastrous. If the fire died during a snowstorm, finding dry wood again could be nearly impossible. Someone often watched the fire day and night. Hot coals were carefully protected. Sometimes ashes covered glowing embers. From the outside, the fire looked dead. Inside, it was still alive. A gentle breath could bring it back. Fire did far more than provide warmth. It dried wet clothing, cooked frozen meat, scared away predators, hardened wooden spears, provided light, and, perhaps most importantly, it brought people together. Around the fire, stories were shared, knowledge passed from one generation to the next. A child learned where to hunt, how to make clothing, how to recognize dangerous weather. Without fire, survival skills could disappear within a generation. Winter became humanity's classroom. But surviving outside remained dangerous. Even strong hunters faced invisible threats. One of them was sweat. That may sound strange. Today, sweating seems harmless. In freezing weather, it could become deadly. Wet clothing loses insulation. Water pulls heat away from the body much faster than air. A hunter who worked too hard could soak his clothing with sweat. Once he stopped moving, his body cooled rapidly. Hypothermia could begin before he reached home. So ancient hunters learned to pace themselves, move steadily, avoid overheating, rest wisely. Sometimes survival meant doing less, not more. Snow itself became useful. At first, that sounds impossible. How can frozen snow help keep someone warm? The answer lies in trapped air. Fresh snow contains countless tiny pockets of air. Air is a poor conductor of heat. That makes snow an excellent insulator. Many animals hide beneath snow during winter. Temperatures under the snow can be far warmer than the freezing air above. Humans eventually discovered the same principle. Snow walls blocked icy winds. Snow shelters trapped precious warmth. It seems backwards, but sometimes the cold itself became protection from the cold. Winter also changed daily routines. People didn't wander aimlessly. Every trip cost energy. Every unnecessary step burned calories. Tasks became organized. Wood was collected efficiently. Food was stored carefully. Repairs were made before storms arrived. Planning became as valuable as strength. The people who thought ahead often survived longer than the people who simply fought harder. Children also had roles. They gathered small sticks, watched younger siblings, helped prepare hides. No one was completely useless. Every pair of hands mattered. Even older adults played a vital role. They remembered past winters. They knew where shelter could be found. They recognized dangerous signs in the weather. Experience became a survival tool. Knowledge could save lives just as surely as a spear. Scientists believe winter may have shaped human cooperation more than almost any other season. One person alone struggled. A group shared work, shared food, shared warmth, shared knowledge. The harshest months rewarded teamwork. Over thousands of years, natural selection favored communities that worked together. Perhaps winter helped shape not only our bodies, but our social instincts as well. Even sleep looked different. People likely slept on thick layers of grass, leaves, fur, or moss. These materials lifted them away from the frozen ground, because touching cold earth all night slowly drains body heat. Some slept close to the fire, but not too close. A single spark could ignite dry fur. Everything required balance. Balance between warmth and safety, between saving fuel and staying alive. And despite all these strategies, winter still claimed lives. Children were vulnerable. The elderly were vulnerable. Injuries became far more dangerous. A broken leg during summer was bad. A broken leg during winter could be fatal. Nature offered little mercy. Yet each generation learned something new: better clothing, smarter shelters, improved hunting methods, more efficient fires. Tiny improvements accumulated over thousands of years. Slowly, humanity became better prepared. Winter never became easy, but humans became remarkably good at facing it. Today, we turn a thermostat, zip up a jacket, step into a heated home. Most of us rarely think about the millions of small discoveries hidden behind those simple comforts. Every warm blanket, every insulated wall, every winter coat carries echoes of ancient experiments performed by people whose names we will never know. People who survived not because they were stronger than nature, but because they learned from it. Perhaps that is the greatest lesson winter ever taught our ancestors. Warmth was never just something they found, it was something they earned, one careful decision at a time. If you want to know more about ancient humans, feel free to comment below and subscribe.